Want to know the quickest way to piss off the Israeli government and the American government all at the same time? Any answers? Stumped yet? I'll give you an answer. Talk about the Holocaust. Poland's Senate has approved a bill that outlaws blaming Poles for the atrocities committed in World War II death camps on Polish soil, or even using the phrase quote-unquote Polish death camps. Now, this bill has infuriated Israeli leaders. They believe that Poland is trying to rewrite history, which I don't think is the case. I think what Poland is trying to do is to honor the Polish victims who died in these death camps as well, because we don't really talk about the other victims of World War II. We just talk about the Jewish genocide that happened, the Holocaust. We don't talk about the numerous Christians who died, the numerous civilians who died. They don't get the same honor and reverence as the Jewish people who died, and not even just World War II. There are so many victims of genocide, the Armenian genocide, for example, who don't get the same reverence, who aren't discussed enough. Their tragedies are not talked about and are not brought to attention, because this is the only genocide that the world focuses on. And I think we should be talking about all the victims, whether in Rwanda, the Armenian genocide, and so on and so forth, because everyone deserves to have their loved ones remembered. Their struggles should not be forgotten, and we should learn from all the people who have gone through genocides so we can never again have these sorts of tragedies happen wherever they have happened in the world. Now, for Israel's part, the Israeli government strongly opposes the bill that was passed by the lower house of the Polish legislature on Friday, which would make it illegal to attribute complicity in the Holocaust to the Polish nation, or to use the term Polish death camps. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Saturday night that history can't be changed and the Holocaust must not be denied. Netanyahu said that the bill aimed at making it illegal to suggest any Polish responsibility for the concentration camps on its territory. Under the draft law, the use of the term Polish death camps could lead to fines or up to 3 years in prison. Among the concentration camps in Poland were Auschwitz-Birkenau, Treblinka, and Sobibor. Netanyahu, who is also the foreign minister, said that he instructed the ambassador in Poland, Anna Anzari, to meet with the Polish prime minister and express his firm stand against the legislation. The Israeli foreign ministry released a statement saying that they are calling upon Poland to amend the Holocaust law, saying that it still needs to be approved by its Senate and then given to the president for it to actually become law. Now, the Polish government and the United States government are at odds because of Poland's Holocaust bill, where Poland's foreign ministry had to release a statement saying that Warsaw hopes that relations with the United States will remain unchanged after the Polish parliament has adopted a draft bill penalizing suggestion of any complicity by Poland in the National Socialist Holocaust. They said, "We believe that the legislative work, despite differences in the assessment of the introduced changes, will not affect the strategic partnership between Poland and the United States," the ministry said in a statement. Now, this upsets me because the United States is we're inserting ourselves in a diplomatic row between Israel and Poland. This has nothing to do with the United States. We should not be involved in this. We should not be commenting on this. Let the two nations work it out. If Jewish citizens in the United States have an issue, that's one thing. But for the United States government to insert itself in an issue that does not involve us should concern everyone. The amount of weird sycophant-like behavior of the US government where Israel is concerned. It, it's very troubling to say the least. The US State Department has expressed concern about the repercussions on Poland's relations with the US and Israel if the draft becomes law, and it's odd that the US government would tie themselves so closely with Israel about a law that does not concern the United States. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert released a statement saying that we encourage Poland to reevaluate the legislation in light of its potential impact on the principle of free speech and on our ability to be effective partners. We are concerned, however, that if enacted, the draft legislation could undermine free speech in academic discourse. We all must be careful not to inhibit discussion and commentary on the Holocaust. We believe open debate and scholarship and education are the best means of countering inaccurate and hurtful speech. Now, I don't believe that this law is in any way denying that there were Polish citizens who were responsible and complicit in the crimes of the National Socialists who were occupying Poland at the time. I think what this bill is trying to do is it's trying to say that these were not Polish death camps. These were German death camps. Germans occupied Poland during this period of time, and they are responsible for the deaths of Polish people and Jewish people who died here. And not only them, Christians who died, gays and lesbians died, Russians died. So many people died during this time period. Now, this measure has been championed by the ruling Law and Justice Party, PIS, which has drawn strong denunciation from the Israeli government, Jewish rights groups, and politicians. The bill's critics have argued that it is designed to whitewash history, in particular, some Poles' complicity in the Holocaust and restricting scholarly research on the topic. After the Israeli Prime Minister to Poland joined calls to repeal the yet-to-be-signed legislation during her speech in Auschwitz, Poland's Institute of National Remembrance, IPN, a state research entity, accused the Israeli authorities of inappropriate interference in the country's internal affairs. Poland's Holocaust bill also outlaws the so-called Bandera ideology of Ukrainian nationalists and criminalizes the 1943-44 massacres of Poles and Jews in Volhynia and Eastern Galicia. Did not sit well with the Ukrainian government. Ukraine's foreign ministry accused Poland of politicizing common history and promoting one-sided interpretation of historic events, noting that Ukrainians, on par with Poles, have been victims of totalitarian regimes. The ministry has labeled Poland's attempts to portray Ukrainians exclusively as criminal nationalists and collaborators of the Third Reich. Lawmakers from the Ukrainian nationalist parties Svoboda went as far as to demand Ukraine's foreign ministry Pavel Kimlin step down, accusing him of being unable to stop Poland from adopting unprecedentedly offensive legislation. Bandera was a Ukrainian nationalist forces leader when they carried out a brutal ethnic cleansing campaign in Volhynia and Eastern Galicia in 1943 through 44. It is estimated that between 76,000 to 106,000 Poles might have perished during that time. In 2000, Bandera was awarded a Hero of Ukraine medal, which was subsequently retracted following an international backlash. So it is going to be interesting to see where this goes. I'm the Millennial Revolt. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.